Imagine you're an astronaut, suspended in the inky blackness of space, weightless and serene, gazing back at Earth, a breathtaking view that few have the privilege to witness. A fragile blue marble in the vastness of space, a vibrant oasis against an infinite dark canvas. It's a perspective that underscores just how precious and delicate our planet truly is. This is our only home, our singular refuge in the cosmos. It's equipped with a life support system billions of years in the making, a complex and interconnected web of natural processes that sustains all life. Now picture the world's top climate scientists, dedicated individuals working tirelessly in labs and research facilities across the globe. Imagine them sending a unified distress signal, a message of profound concern for the future of our planet. They're not sounding alarms with sensationalism, but with irrefutable data, meticulously gathered and rigorously analyzed. This isn't a drill. This is reality unfolding before our eyes. It's a planetary status report, a comprehensive assessment of Earth's health, delivered with the utmost seriousness. The systems that keep us alive, our oceans, forests, and atmosphere are under severe strain, pushed to their breaking point. The warning is clear and urgent. We can no longer afford to ignore the signs. The climate crisis is not a distant threat looming on the horizon. It's here now, and accelerating at an alarming rate, impacting communities and ecosystems around the world. For decades, scientists predicted these changes with remarkable accuracy. Today, we're witnessing them unfold in real time, experiencing the consequences of inaction firsthand. The speed and intensity of these changes are so profound that it alarms even the experts who have dedicated their lives to studying them. Science thrives on debate, on the rigorous testing of hypotheses and the constant pursuit of knowledge. But when so many scientists from diverse backgrounds and disciplines speak with one voice, we must pay attention to the undeniable consensus. They're telling us with increasing urgency that we're steering into a storm of our own making, a tempest fueled by our collective actions. The evidence from 2024 is overwhelming, a cascade of data points painting a stark picture of planetary distress. We're seeing record-breaking metrics across the board, from soaring temperatures to unprecedented levels of greenhouse gases. Critical thresholds crossed, tipping points reached, unleashing irreversible changes to our planet's delicate balance. And the planet's natural buffers, the ecosystems that protect us from the worst impacts of climate change, are rapidly eroding, diminishing our resilience. This is your briefing, a concise overview of the climate crisis, presented with the gravity it deserves. It's a guide to understanding the gravity of this warning, the profound implications for our future and the future of generations to come. The data is no longer about abstract future projections or distant scenarios. It's not something that might happen someday. It's about what's happening right now, unfolding in real time across the globe. The vital signs of our planet are flashing red, signaling a state of emergency that demands immediate attention. The buffer that once protected us, the natural systems that absorbed our impact, is vanishing at an alarming rate, leaving us increasingly vulnerable. This is not just another headline vying for your attention in a sea of information. It's not just another news cycle. It's a call to recognize the cosmic significance of our choices, the understanding that our actions have far-reaching consequences for the entire planet. The time for complacency is over. We can no longer afford to delay action or downplay the severity of the crisis. Our legacy will be defined not by what we knew, but by how we respond to this moment of unprecedented challenge. The scientist's message is not just a warning, it's a profound act of responsibility, a call to action rooted in decades of research and unwavering dedication. We are at a pivotal crossroads in human history, a moment that will determine the fate of our planet and the well-being of future generations. The facts are unambiguous, the evidence is overwhelming, and the need for action is undeniable. Urgent action is needed. Bold and transformative changes are required to avert the worst consequences of the climate crisis. Will we listen to the science, heed the warnings, and rise to the challenge? The future of our planet hangs in the balance. Earth's atmosphere, a delicate and vital layer, surrounds our planet. It's a complex system that we're only beginning to fully understand. Is a natural blanket composed of various gases, each playing a crucial role in maintaining the conditions we need to survive, trapping heat and making life possible. Without this natural greenhouse effect, our planet would be a frozen, uninhabitable wasteland. For thousands of years, this atmospheric blanket has maintained a relatively stable composition, allowing ecosystems to flourish and civilizations to develop. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane, naturally present in the atmosphere, have played a critical role in regulating Earth's temperature, stayed in balance, ensuring a climate that supported a rich diversity of life. This balance was a result of natural processes that both released and absorbed these gases, but by burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and natural gas. On a massive scale, we've disrupted this delicate equilibrium. We've thickened this blanket, adding excessive amounts of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, far beyond what natural systems can absorb, at an unprecedented rate. The speed and scale of this change are what make it so alarming. In 2024, greenhouse gas levels measured at monitoring stations around the world hit their highest point in at least 800,000 years. This data, meticulously gathered from sources like ice cores, paints a clear and concerning picture. Ice cores reveal ancient atmospheric compositions, providing a historical record of greenhouse gas concentrations. This spike is unlike anything in our planet's history. The rate of increase is particularly striking, indicating a profound shift in the Earth's climate system. Carbon dioxide now exceeds, reaching levels not seen in hundreds of millennia, 425 parts per million, a concentration that has significant implications for our planet's future. A dramatic leap, and it continues to climb. Methane, far more potent than CO2 in its ability to trap heat over a shorter period, is also surging, contributing significantly to the overall warming effect. Driven by leaks from natural gas infrastructure, livestock, a major source of agricultural methane emissions, and thawing permafrost, which releases vast quantities of stored methane as it melts. The result, a planet struggling to cope with the excess energy trapped within its atmosphere. Earth is retaining more heat than it can release, leading to a cascade of consequences across the globe. Driving the climate crisis, with increasingly frequent and intense extreme weather events, the source is clear. The burning of fossil fuels remains the primary driver of this atmospheric change. Our industrial activities, which rely heavily on fossil fuels for energy and production, transportation, with its reliance on combustion engines and agriculture, which contributes through land use practices and emissions from livestock and fertilizers. Isotope analysis proves beyond any reasonable doubt the excess carbon comes from fossil fuels. This scientific evidence is irrefutable. The sky may look unchanged, appearing as it always has, but its chemistry is fundamentally altered, with far-reaching consequences for the planet's climate. We are now feeling the heat, experiencing the tangible effects of climate change in our daily lives, of our own making. It's a stark reminder of the urgent need for action. Think of Earth's atmosphere as having a carbon budget, a hard limit on how much more CO2 we can emit before locking in dangerous warming. To stay below 1.5 degrees Celsius, we have only a few years left at current emission rates. Humanity emits over 40 billion tons of CO2 annually, burning through our budget at breakneck speed. Every flight, every ton of steel, every fossil-fueled kilowatt is a withdrawal from this shrinking account. The carbon we emit today will warm the planet for centuries. The budget makes the crisis tangible. We're almost out of time. Delay means steeper, more painful cuts later. The laws of physics don't negotiate. Once we overspend, the consequences are irreversible. The warning is clear. We're on the verge of overdrawing, and the penalties are existential. The window for meaningful action is closing fast. Why is 1.5 degrees Celsius so critical? What makes this seemingly small number such a significant threshold in the climate conversation? Think of it as a fever for the planet. A slight rise in body temperature can indicate a serious illness, and the same holds true for Earth. Beyond this 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold, systems become dangerously unstable. We're talking about more frequent and intense heat waves, devastating floods, and increasingly powerful storms. It's not a magic number pulled out of thin air, but a scientifically determined guardrail, established through decades of research and climate modeling. At 1.5 degrees Celsius, we risk losing up to 90% of coral reefs, the vibrant underwater ecosystems that support a quarter of all marine life. At 2 degrees Celsius, almost all are gone. These underwater cities will become barren graveyards, impacting countless species and the livelihoods of people who depend on them. Crossing 1.5 degrees Celsius significantly increases the risk of triggering irreversible tipping points, thresholds beyond which certain changes become self-perpetuating and unstoppable. like the irreversible collapse of major ice sheets or the large-scale dying of rainforests, transforming vital carbon sinks into carbon sources. We've already warmed the Earth by over 1.2 degrees Celsius, and the impacts are being felt around the world, from rising sea levels to more extreme weather events. And the pace is accelerating, meaning we're approaching that critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold faster than previously anticipated. The 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold is not a distant target for future generations to worry about. It's an imminent threat that demands immediate and decisive action. We may breach it within years, not decades, if we don't drastically reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. The fight now is to make any overshoot temporary, to limit the duration and extent of warming above 1.5 degrees Celsius. Every fraction of a degree matters, and every action we take to reduce emissions makes a difference. It matters for vulnerable species struggling to adapt, for nations facing existential threats from rising sea levels, and for the future of our civilization. The data is a fever alert, a clear and urgent warning that we must act now to cool down our planet. We're living in the warmest period in over 100,000 years, a stark reminder of the unprecedented changes we're inflicting on our planet. Our actions now will decide if we can pull back from the brink and create a sustainable future for all. Sea level rise is one of the most visible consequences of a warming world. The rate has more than doubled in the last decade, now rising faster than at any time in 3,000 years. Oceans swell as they absorb heat and as ancient ice sheets and glaciers melt. The volume of meltwater pouring into the sea is staggering. Coastal cities face more frequent flooding, salt water threatens drinking water and agriculture. For island nations, it's an existential crisis. The rise we've locked in will last centuries, but our choices now determine if it's manageable or catastrophic. The warning: act now, or watch our shores disappear. Oceans have absorbed over 90% of the excess heat from human emissions, shielding us from even more extreme warming. This buffering comes at a cost. Ocean temperatures are rising from the surface to the abyss. The energy imbalance has doubled since the early 2000s, fueling stronger storms and marine heat waves. These heat waves devastate coral reefs and marine life, pushing ocean systems to their limits. Oceans also absorb a quarter of our CO2, causing acidification that threatens the base of the marine food web. The ocean's ability to protect us is eroding. We're pushing this vital system to the brink. The buffer is nearly saturated. The protector is in distress. The climate crisis is a web of interconnected problems. One change triggers another, like falling dominoes. Melting Arctic ice leads to more warming, which melts more ice, a vicious feedback loop. The water cycle is supercharged. Droughts get drier, floods get worse. Extreme weather destroys crops, disrupts food and water supplies, and spreads disease. Rising seas and failed harvests force people to migrate, fueling conflict and instability. The crisis multiplies every challenge humanity faces. We can't adapt to one problem at a time. The system itself is destabilizing. The dominoes are falling. The question: can we act fast enough to stop the collapse? Our future depends on it. In a universe of possibilities, Earth is our only home, a rare jewel in the cosmos. The climate crisis is a test of our wisdom and responsibility as a species. We have the power to shape the future, for better or worse. One path is business as usual: delay, denial, and a broken planet for future generations. The other path is transformation: rapid transition to clean energy, reimagined cities and economies, and living in harmony with nature. This isn't just sacrifice, it's an opportunity for a healthier, more just world. The universe won't save us. The choice is ours. Will we act with foresight and care, or with reckless indifference? Our legacy is at stake. The time to choose is now. The future is in our hands. The scientist's warning is our modern iceberg ahead, a call for urgent action. The responsibility to steer Spaceship Earth falls on all of us, but especially our leaders. We need immediate, radical acceleration to decarbonize the global economy. This means phasing out fossil fuels, investing in renewables, and transforming infrastructure. Leadership must come from the top, but every one of us has a role. Demand action, vote, and join collective movements for change. The future isn't written. These warnings are a call, not a prophecy of doom. We are problem solvers. Let this be our turning point. Let's choose a future where